Okay, people, today let's take a quick look at the Creative Beast Studios Cyberzoic Smilodon. Smilodon, it's a saber-tooth tiger. Now, if you came to this channel for historical dinosaur accuracy and facts and what they're supposed to look like, you're in the wrong spot. Most of my dinosaur knowledge comes from coloring books from the 70s and 80s, Jurassic Park, and then, of course, Marvel's Savage Land. So I have mental images of what different beasts should look like. So when I ran across the Creative Beasts Kickstarter for these, there was a lot of 1/18th scale stuff that was fantastic looking, but a little small for what I collect. But this is 1/12 scale. I need to go looking and seeing at what else they have 1/12 scale, because I haven't even cracked this open yet, and ooh, that's neat look. Going over the package, there's some window, there is some art, there is some names, there is some colors. And when I first looked at it, I thought, oh, blue and pale green, and then the browns, the natural colors of the pictures and everything. That shouldn't go together, but I love the look of this. On the side, a lot of the same, just in different order. On the back, there's a promo shot. There is a species profile with all the lengths and weights and families, along with the details of the figure itself. And then there's the Cyberzoic part with the armor and the character, and I believe that was different tiers in the Kickstarter, but I didn't go for this or this. On the side, a cool-ass logo. On the top, more branding with a big window to allow the light to shine down. And then on bottom, all the credits, everybody involved in the making of this figure. There's a barcode. Let's crack this open. Inside the plastic baggie taped to the side of the package, there was this trading card. There's that card art on the other side again, looking all beautiful. Then there's the instructions, which I'm thankful for because I either didn't know or had forgotten about certain features like the swappable ears. Also interchangeable heads, paws, and neck fur. We'll get to all that after looking at the figure itself, and oh man. Now, to be upfront, a couple of things threw me off when I first got it out of the package, when I first started messing with it. But then all the rest of the things brought me back around. Not that I was like, oh no, this is terrible. No, just, okay, right off the bat, look. It is thin. And I guess I'm just used to other beast type figures being wide, muscular, broad, to where it looks like they just overpower you, take you down. So when I first saw this, I thought, But then my brain went back to the Savo lions. They were very thin, they were lithe, but you could see that they were powerful, and that's the feeling I get here. You can see just muscles kind of bulging out in places. Yes, again, it is skinny, it is narrow this direction, but this is the meat and potatoes. This makes you look at it and go, oh shit, I don't want to run into this on a prairie or in a jungle or wherever it's supposed to be. Like I said, you didn't come here for dinosaur facts, you came here to look at an action figure. But then I started looking at the paint job, and look, it's so subtle and so natural feeling, with the browns fading into the tans with a wash to them to give it some depth, almost some dirtiness, some grunginess. And then it fades into darker stripes and spots in places. Down here on the leg, you can see it. It's kind of tiger-like. Saber-tooth tiger. Same thing on the back. The darker brown patches on the lighter and the fades and everything. It just works so well. But you can see it, right? This cover piece is slightly darker than the rest. So it's kind of a rough transition going from here to here. Then I look here and it's also darker. I think it's just because of the articulation point, the break in the sculpt, that it makes it. It's not as jarring to the leg. Yes, there's a little lightness to it, and a little lighter on this side. Get down to the paws, and out of the package, they have the claws out. And that's another feature of the interchangeable paws. And even the bottoms are sculpted and painted. But coming around to the front and taking a look at the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the teeth and the ears and the fur around and the fades from lighter to darker browns, this is the last thing that caught me off guard out of the package. But again, I quickly acclimated. It's not as fierce as I was expecting. But then I realized, no, it wouldn't be hunting and chasing things down 24 hours a day. Sometimes you would just be laying around, wondering what's happening next, resting, relaxing, and I'm okay with that. Plus, getting to the accessories, it takes care of all my problems when it comes to rowdiness. You have to take the whole figure in all at the same time to appreciate it. Just the overall shape is a bit intimidating because, again, It's all muscle, lean muscle. It's just quick, agile. But the thinness does come into play with the engineering on the front legs. They don't really spread out much, but they do shift up and down. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. I don't know if it's a double ball joint or if there's a slot to allow the articulation to travel. But the way it's set up, the most natural feeling position for the front legs is kind of offset from each other. You want it walking forward or stalking poses, maybe leaping, because side by side they get apart about that much, which I guess if it's standing, you got it posed on the shelf. It's not bad, but there's definitely a natural position to those shoulders. The back legs have a little more spread to them. The sculpt comes up and over. These have the legs on the outside because this piece is actually just a cover for the articulation. It's not rubbery, but it's a bit flexy to get out of the way of movement. So that helps here and up here a bit. And with that, we might as well go over articulation. There is a jaw that opens this far. Tongue even looks wet. And yeah, be careful shutting it. These are sharp and not very flexy. There is a dumbbell joint at the front of the neck that allows for some shift up and some shift down to the right, to the left, and rotation about this far. That's because the socket is shaped to the neck piece. Then at the base of the neck, it shifts up, and yeah, it does pull the neck fur up and away. That's why there's a swappable piece. We'll get to that. And there is a bit of side to side to it. So altogether, the neck goes here to here. We talked about the front legs. It shifts up and down, and okay, there is front to back. Maybe that is a dumbbell joint. Not very far out, but does rotate all the way around. Hinge below that straightens out and bends to there. Hinge and swivel below that. This one doesn't swivel, this one just hinges, but this goes straight and then bends to here, rotation. Then there's a hinge of the paw that goes from straight to about right there, and forward-facing pin for rocker a little. It is shaped to the lower leg. Dumbbell joint mid-torso hinges up, hinges down, some side to side, back and forth, a little rotation. I think the back legs are just ball joints coming out, but flexes out to there, in, little bit of rotation, then goes forward to there before it crashes on the sculpt of the body, but goes back to here. Hinge below that bends to here. Hinge and swivel below that goes from straight to here, rotates. The paw has a hinge that goes from here to here, and forward-facing pin for rocker. Back here at the tail, that seems to be, is that a ball joint on the end? You can wag it back and forth, take it all the way up and around, and there is some out motion, in, out, rotation. Yeah, I think that's a ball joint. For accessories, like mentioned, there is a removable neck fur piece. Then you can put on this other piece that has less fur to it. It's less raised hair, and it's quite a bit of difference. As promised in the instructions, that does free up movement a bit, so maybe I'll leave that on there. I think it kind of works better with the alternate head, and I kind of brought it in a minute ago. Oh, that's tight. I'm gonna heat that up a bit just for safety's sake. And there's that fierceness I was looking for. This is what you don't want to see jumping out at you from the trees. That was fierce, wasn't it? Then let's see. Okay, the paws, it said pull down, and I pulled down and kind of back. These are marked L2 and L1. It's got the claws in, which is cool for options. You know, put it with the neutral head, but once again, I'm looking for that scary cat look. And that's also the same with the back feet. Just claws in, claws out. Options are good. Okay, the ears are swappable, but man, those flared back versions seem very appropriate for this head. These are more relaxed, kind of sticking up, alert position, waiting for something to happen. So I feel like these were really made for this, but you know what I'm gonna do? I gotta try to swap them. Okay, yeah, that's not terrible. And neither's that. I looked at it so long with the other ear that seems right to me. In neutral position, Smiley stands at about 4 3/16 at the highest point, and then about 1 5/8 at the widest point here. I'm gonna put the tail in as far as possible. From there to the nose is about 7 3/8. And you knew these guys were coming out. The Hasbro Dungeons & Dragons Guinevere and the Marvel Legends Zabu. Out of the package, Smilodon felt smaller than I remembered Zabu being, but now having them side by side, it's comparable. When we're talking length, it's pretty much the same, and that also goes for height. Or, well, length. I don't know what I'm comparing here. But then there's that thickness difference. We get used to this to where this looks odd. But now that I've been messing around with this for a little bit, this feels more natural. And this seems a bit comic booky. Or just different saber tooths for different situations. How's that? Here's another Creative Beast dinosaur that I reviewed a good long while back, and then a Mattel Jurassic Park Hammond Collection dinosaur that I picked up more recently. Here's a Mattel Amber Collection Velociraptor and the more recent Nanmu Velociraptor. I can't remember the exact name, but I'll try to put the review right here. Go ahead and click it. Go check it out. And then finally, here's a Mattel Amber Collection figure and a Hasbro Marvel Legends figure. Basically, I buy dinosaurs to supplement my Savage Land display. But this does come off a bit too lifelike for Marvel Legends. But I'm gonna put it in there anyway because it's cool. So at the end of the day, oh, my Savage Land grows. I did just notice as I was setting up this picture that the open mouth head seems smaller than the closed mouth head. But I think that may be a case of the head drastically stretching because that jaw almost seems to unhinge. Here it looks pretty good, but the way I had it turned, I looked through the viewfinder and thought, oh, well, that looks slightly small, maybe? But then it looks good here. So again, it may just be me. What did I tell you about coming here for scientific facts or general knowledge about prehistoric animals? You're in the wrong area. I'm just looking for cool toys to go with my cool toys. So I can have more cool toys to put together and make cool displays. That's what I got. Bye.